Howdy, y'all, and welcome to the EEARSS Podcast, produced by Terrier TV. My name is Frank. That over there is Bill, and that's Cindy. How are you guys doing?
I'm doing really good. I'm just wondering how much time is left on the show.
It's been this week has been an interesting week. It started off with...
Well, hold on. Cindy hasn't told us how she's been.
I know. I was trying to dig to that.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I was going to say, this week has been...
I'm being impatient.
No, it's okay. You're allowed, buddy. This week has been an interesting week. You know, it started on Sunday.
Yes, most weeks do.
Well, but it's funny. I mean, people don't realize that, though, Bill.
What's that?
Is it funny when people don't realize that the week starts on Sunday?
For me, the week starts on Monday.
Yeah.
The week
most
ends
people,
on Sunday.
They're going, their work week starts, yes.
But I think if you went across the board and asked most people in America, what day is the first day of the week?
What day is the first day of the week?
They're going to all say Monday because they don't realize it starts on Sunday. Am I wrong, Cindy?
No, I believe the week does start on Monday. I believe you are wrong that it starts on Sunday.
No, look at a calendar.
If you look at a calendar, though, you see what I'm saying.
Who does that anymore?
But you see what I'm saying. Technically speaking.
It's on your phone. You got one on your phone.
You see what I'm saying?
That starts with Monday.
Think about it, though.
Really?
If somebody was...
You can do that now. You can do it.
Yeah.
If you had a trivia question that like it was for $1,000 and they said, what day of the week does the week start on?
What's the first day?
What's the first day of the week?
I would lose because I would say Monday.
Would you honestly?
Yes.
Even for big money? If you had to answer
it wouldn't occur to
correctly?
me to say Sunday.
Yeah, and then you would argue the point.
Yeah, it honestly wouldn't occur to me to say Sunday.
That's a big portion of the population.
Oh yeah, I think so. Most people live by the work week. Your weekend, you don't look at your weekend as being divided. That my weekend is the end of one week and the beginning of another.
Well, see,
it is, but you don't think of it that way.
I think I'm an oddball because I've never had a weekend.
Yeah, you've always worked odd hours.
Yeah. I've always worked every day of the week.
Right.
So I've never had a week. Oh man, it's Saturday. I get Saturday and Sunday off.
And you've kind of been your own boss. So you've never had a boss. Boy, there's all kinds of things.
Mother Nature.
I had a boss, and it was Uncle Bill. Yes.
Yes. Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. There you go.
And before that, it was my dad.
Right.
Yeah, doing surveying, and now it kind of is me. Yeah, it has been me for a while now, which is quite unique, without a doubt.
You're a sole proprietorship.
I don't know about all that. There has to be something to a proprietor.
Well, I mean, ears, the whole ears thing.
Yeah, let's hope we get enough behind that to keep going. We did start our research last week. We started on Wednesday. We went Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, starting our cancer research study with the University of Louisville. So that was an epic week. It was pretty comical that I want to say it's maybe Wednesday evening. I get a call from Melanie Holt with Channel 9 News.
Uh-huh.
She's like, "Hey Frank, I understand you're doing a cancer study." And I said, "Yeah, how in the world do you know about that?"
Yeah.
And she goes, "Oh, I got a source." And I said,
"A source?"
Well, I said, "Who's your source?" And she goes, I can't tell you that." And she's laughing. I immediately started thinking, I'm like, okay, who have I told this to? Told it to Bill, told it to Cindy, I've told it to my family.
Cindy.
So I'm like, I'm going.
It was me. I'm well connected.
Yeah, I'm like, and who do I know that knows somebody with Channel 9? I said, is Sid with you? And she said, yeah, how did you, man, you did that pretty quick. And I said, yeah, it didn't take long for me to get there. Yeah, it didn't take long. So I think they're going to join us out in the field probably in June.
Are you able to talk yet about the research you're doing? I know.
Sure. Yeah, what do you want to talk about? Let's talk about it.
Tell our listener. Tell us, Frank.
So,
tell us more.
What we're looking at, we're using the American alligator as a sentinel species for human health in a lot of different ways. We're specifically looking at heavy metals, forever chemicals, and as I jokingly say, methyl ethyl bad things. But along with that, we're doing cancer research. So we're looking at chromosome breaks in these animals to see maybe what they've been subject to. And we found over time that the American alligator can repair its own chromosomes. So we're trying to, at the same time, looking at chromosome breaks to see what's been damaging them in the local environment, what they've been eating. So being an apex predator, they bioaccumulate all the data up to them. So if you have a bunch of animals that have a bunch of toxins and heavy metals in them, it's going to show up in the American alligator magnified 1,000 times over. So looking at them as a floating file of information kind of gives you all that information in one place. So we're digging into all that stuff. We're going to be covering pretty much the entire county on the saltwater side doing this, and pretty excited. It's the preliminary study is a 3-year study, and we're going to see where it goes from there. But yeah, we're doing that in partnership with the University of Louisville, and very excited to dig into this and see where it goes. And I really hope we find some great information. It's awesome to be the tip of the spear in some really, really unique, important research.
I'm excited to hear it coming to this point, because this is how Frank and I met.
Oh, okay.
Way back when he decided he wanted to go back to school and get the skill set to do this work.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we were doing this at the time at the Space Center, helping a group out there do that. That was long before EEARSS was even thought of. And when I started doing the schooling, I knew goals one day were to be able to have a group and do this on my own. And that study stopped maybe in 2018. And no, maybe it was the end of 2019, beginning of 2020. And then the nonprofit had started at the same time, and it just kind of it's truly, just like everything else has been going on, the good Lord kind of putting everything together in the right order and making it all work out. And it's been a lot of hard work and a lot of dig and a lot of drive that's got us here, and I'm very excited about it.
So now when you're collecting these, the samples from the different alligators and stuff, what are the expenses that go into that? Because you got to do pit tags and all this kind of stuff. I mean, tell everybody how much this is costing.
So each sample we take ends up costing about $5,000.
Oh.
That's each blood sample costs about $5,000 to run them. So you have, on our side, you have pit tags, which run $15 a piece, pit tag scanner to scan the pit tags. You have syringes, you have needles, which we use 18 and 20 gauge needles. You have all the equipment to catch the animals. It's just every little piece and part of it adds up. Vacuum tubes, stuff to put the blood in, stuff to draw the blood. There's so many pieces and parts of that. Not even mention the equipment we're using once we get in the lab. Centrifuges and vet scan machines, and it's
now you're
it's
using,
a little bit overwhelming.
Where are you running these tests at?
We're doing most all this at the Brevard Zoo. They let us use their lab, which is amazing. It's very kind of them to open that up to us and let us use this. They see the benefits of these tests too. And we've had Keith Winston and Zach on here before, Zach Marchetti, and they understand the benefits of these studies and what we're really digging into. And they kind of have their pulse. They have the pulse of everything that's really happening research-wise in the lagoon system. They kind of have the pulse of it and what's happening, and they help out with quite a bit of it.
Okay.
Yep. So it's going to be a lot of hard work. It's going to be a lot of digging.
Okay.
But we're getting after it.
Now, you're sitting on top of an alligator, and you're going to take a sample, and you got a 20 gauge needle.
Yep. So the big guys.
How do you keep from
needle,
poking yourself?
Experience mostly.
Yeah. Okay.
Knowing where you can and what you can't get away with it.
Hope.
So of course, until you go to draw the blood, you can leave the cap on the needle.
Right.
When it's time to draw the blood, you have somebody holding the animal's head, and then you take the needle. You know where you're going to stick it, and it's like a lot of blood draws. You put the needle in, and then you give it just a little bit of pressure, and you push the needle, depending on the size of the animal, down until you see a little bit of blood hit the needle, and then you pull it in.
Okay.
You pull the blood you need, and with alligators, you have to start immediately hitting the vacuum tube containers with the blood, or it turns into jelly almost immediately. So you pull the blood, and you either have the tubes there you need to put the blood in, or you hand the needle off to somebody, of course, non-business end, and you let them start hitting the vacuum tubes with that ASAP. Because if you don't, again, that's jelly pretty quickly.
So
thereafter.
If air hits it, it just.
Oh yeah, if air hits it, it's done.
Okay.
And even in the syringe itself, if it sits there for more than 10 seconds, it's going to be a giant thing of jelly.
Okay. Huh.
Yeah, it's it's a very interesting thing because science, we still don't understand how the blood clotting factors work. They're trying to figure all that out because that's going to be the answer to a lot of things as well when it comes to people that have clotting issues of their own, when it comes to battlefield stuff. I mean, it's think of it, somebody could be carrying something like that in just an ambulance with them to make your blood clot that fast. You're saving multiple lives. Gunshot wounds, again, the battlefield dynamics of it alone are just crazy, but we don't understand how it works.
Okay.
They're a very unique critter. And not to mention their blood kills everything,
I was going to ask, didn't you tell me that their blood's naturally, doesn't it have antiviral properties?
It does, anti-everything properties. So the way I look at it is, I look at viruses and bacteria as locks. So think about them as locks out in the environment that you end up with in your body sometimes. And in order to defeat that lock, whether that's a bacteria or a virus, you have to make a key. Your body has to make a key to open it, to destroy it. So, you spend however long it takes once you're sick to make the correct key to get into that bacteria or that virus to open it and destroy it. Well, alligators, crocodilians in general, they're a long-living animal that's been around forever. Our joke is, what happened to the dinosaurs, right? Alligators ate them all. Yeah, that's our ongoing joke.
Okay.
They've seen all these things, and they have a whole key ring full of keys. So when a virus or a bacteria shows up, they've already had it. They've already defeated it. They already have the key to break it. So that's the reason the drop of their blood can kill the HIV virus on contact, because they've already seen it over thousands and millions of years and been able to destroy it. So it's nothing for them. While it's something we're still trying to figure out, they've already got the keys to it. So it's very unique where it's going. It's some pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, it sounds fascinating.
So I know there are some parts of the research you all aren't ready to share yet. It's still being done, and you're still looking for connections before you talk about it. So if I bring something up, just tell me to stop.
Okay.
Are there any observations that you all have been able to make yet about gators that you are studying, as far as are they seeming to be healthy in this area? Are they sick?
There's a lot of things in the Space Coast area going on, which were one of the real reasons we wanted to dig into the Space Coast in general, not to mention me growing up here and being here and really wanting to dig into all the medical things that are happening here on the Space Coast. But, over time, and I've worked with alligators for a minute, you see things sometimes that are alarming, and you really want to get answers to them and what's happening, and this is going to give us a chance to really dig into those questions and get answers for them. So while we don't, of course, just starting this, we don't have the answers to those questions yet. By the time this first preliminary study is done after these 3 years, we should have some answers to what's happening.
How many samples are you hoping to be able to collect and test?
Hundreds.
At $5,000 a piece?
Yep.
Wow.
So the University of Louisville has funding for the sampling side, doing the sampling side. We're trying to raise funding for the pulling the animals and doing the sampling side. So they have funding available to them for actually running the blood samples through the machines. We need help on our side for fuel and everything else, because it's gonna be a lot of money behind our side too.
Right. So you're helping to collect.
Yeah,
samples.
That's our responsibility on this side, is collecting the samples. Yep.
Okay.
Yikes. Sorry.
Wow.
Yeah, it's we started last week, and I was kind of out of commission this week, and so I worked pretty hard over the last week.
So you're going to like parks and things like that?
Yeah, kind of things, intercoastal areas, and then things that back up in intercoastal areas.
I got this vision of Frank driving around in a panel van, offering alligators candy.
That's exactly what he does.
Yes, exactly. Come on, don't you want some candy, Mr. Alligator?
It's not that far fetched.
He just
honestly,
he talks to him real nice, and they're like, "Sure,
sure,
here you go.
Come on, get in the van."
3 times this week, I've had somebody ask me, "What are you actually saying to him?" I'm like, "Hey, this is a PG-rated program. We can't talk about that."
Do you need volunteers?
So we need volunteers for our other research. For that specifically, we can't really have any volunteers as part of it currently, but we'll be able to include volunteers with other things for sure.
I will be the first one. I want to get out there and do this. I'm terrified, and I'll probably
might be fun just to watch and see what's going on. Yeah, it's something pretty special. I had an idea. You want to give one of our past guests a call and chat with him?
Sure. Who you got in mind?
Let's give Romeo Crouch a call. I know he has an
We
event coming up. Man, sometime here in May. It's crazy that it's May now.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's May.
Man, time is a weird contraption. 5 months into the year already.
Yep.
I think we're time machines. I truly think we are time machines. Because I don't know how else to make sense of it.
Mm-hmm.
Seems like yesterday I was a student here.
Okay. I will tell you this. This is my thing. Okay. When you're younger, when you're 4 years old, Christmas takes forever.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's because you're 4 years old. You only have 4 years of experience.
Yep.
So when you're 40 years old, you have 10 times more experience. And time seems to go faster because you have more to compare it to.
That makes more sense than anything I've heard in a long time.
So that's why the older you get, it just seems like time flies because you have your whole past to compare it to.
Huh. Yeah, that's
now
that's
I'm
pretty deep.
processing that.
Yeah.
That's pretty deep, Bill.
There you go.
Yeah, see, if I didn't have a beard, I wouldn't be able to process any of that.
I know. You couldn't.
I couldn't pull my thoughts down in my mouth to be able to discuss it.
That's
I
why
struggle,
Cindy,
yeah.
That's why Cindy can't figure it out.
I struggle over
I
here.
can let you borrow it if you want to. It does help.
Stroke somebody else's beard.
Yeah. No. What you ought to do is get yourself like a beard, a clip-on beard, and say, "This is my thinking beard."
Next week, I'm bringing you a beard.
And give people no context.
No
Just do
context.
it. Just bring
Yeah.
Put it on.
middle of a meeting at work.
I'm
Dear
trying to
Lord.
solve an issue.
Like,
Give me a
it's
minute.
the most normal thing I've ever done.
Yes,
Next
exactly.
podcast, when we get to trivia section, I'm gonna hand you a beard, and you just put it on. Don't even tell anybody a single thing.
The thing is, half the people I work with, that probably wouldn't even faze them. They'd be like, "Oh, she's just being weird again. There she is doing things."
There she is.
That's how I roll. It is what
There
it
we
is.
go. Yep.
All right, you guys ready to chat with him?
Let's do it.
All right, let's give him a call. See if he answers. This is the first part of the equation.
Yep.
I like random call podcasts. They're kind of
Yes.
fun.
Anything can happen.
It really can happen. You have no idea what's going to go on.
Hey there.
Hey, Mr. Romeo, how are you doing, buddy?
Doing well. How's it going, Mr. Rob?
Pretty good. You are joined on here with Bill and Cindy right now. We're all three here, and you're live on a podcast. We wanted to give you a call and see how things were going for you, and just chat about life for a second, bub.
All right, cool. How's everybody doing?
I'm good. Hey, Romeo.
Yeah.
I haven't seen you in a while. I looked it up today and saw that you were in Europe.
Yeah.
For a time.
So, long story about that. I'll make it short. Is the last 2 years I've been playing professional basketball overseas. First year I went to Spain, and for my second year I went to Slovakia. And I had an injury that brought me back home. I tore my ACL, so I'm back home doing my rehab and getting back healthy.
What's the prognosis?
Torn ACL.
Yeah, but I mean, how long do you got to recover?
Oh,
how long till
sorry.
you're back?
It's gonna be about 9 to 12 months.
Okay.
So, looking at like September, August.
Was that your first trip out of country over there?
So I mean, for the last 2 years, so 2 years ago when I went to Spain, that was my first, and then I came back home for the summer, and then I went back out to Slovakia for my second.
So what was Spain? Did you enjoy Spain?
Yeah, Spain was awesome.
Oh,
Love
cool.
Spain.
Oh, cool.
As I say, was it complete culture shock, or was it?
For
did
sure.
it all work out pretty good?
No, I mean it all worked out pretty good, but it was a shock at first. But I was out there for about 9 to 10 months, so it was I was out there for quite a while to get adjusted. So it was a really good experience.
Now tell me, over there, are the fans different?
Yeah, I would say they're a lot more energetic. They're
More
very
energetic.
loyal. They're more energetic and they're more loyal. Even for the small games, like I went to a younger age game, not even the professional games, and the entire town came out just to watch them, and they were pre-gaming, and it was really lively.
So do they sing songs?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh wow. Okay.
That's crazy.
For sure.
It makes me think of a soccer stadium. It's kind of like that kind of
Yeah.
that kind of experience.
Exactly the same.
Wow. Okay, well, so all right, going from the college level and going over there and playing, what are some of the things, what are some of the major things you learned, or, what have you taken from that and taken to the next level here? What are some things you grasped from that?
Yeah, so I would say I learned quite a bit, a lot on the end of adapting. I think life is all about adapting and adjusting. You have to whatever you are, whatever you're going through in life, it's not going to always be the same. You're not always going to be comfortable. But you got to make it happen. You got to make it work, and you got to get the best out of it. So I learned that, and I think I'm going to carry that on to the rest of my life. But just accepting of more than just yourself and your own norms, being accepting of different cultures, being accepting of how the way people live, how people live everywhere else. Even in America, we have a lot of different types of people here, but if you just stay in Titusville and talk to people around Titusville, you'll get used to one type. But, the more you get out and the more you talk to different people and really try to get to know other people and where they come from, you'll learn a lot more about what there is to bring to life and what life has to offer.
Okay, I've got to ask you a question here. In your 2 years over there, what was your favorite food?
Oh, my favorite food.
Yeah, what did you find that just
something
went, wow.
that is like that really got me, and it was very simple, but it's called croquetas.
Okay.
And I ate that in Spain. It's not even weird. It's like a fried food. It's like an appetizer. You'd have to look it up, but it's
okay.
Like,
but
it's very different than I've ever had, and I definitely ate those like 4 times out of the week.
Hilarious. So I know you're a devout man of faith. Tell us about how your faith has grown over this adventure. I mean, truly an adventure in a lifetime experience here. And then with the injury you're dealing with now, it's your faith has got to play a huge role in all this.
For sure. I definitely believe God has a plan for me. But when I was overseas, my plan, and I think I was pretty successful, was to be a walking, testament of what God is, what Jesus is, and what he brings, the light that he shines. I wanted to embody him everywhere I went, and I talked about him on as many occasions as I could to my teammates, to the fans. I gave him all the credit, and I just wanted the people there in Spain, they all believe in Jesus for the most part, but it's like more like Catholic. So it's a little bit different. So I wasn't able to get into the churches because for one, they speak Spanish the entire time. I wouldn't be able to keep up. And, it's just a little bit different than I was accustomed to. But it was just a good opportunity for me to just show my faith there and tell everybody everything that I could, in every situation that I could, But now that I'm injured, I have the great opportunity to show my faith that God has good plans for me in the future, and I definitely believe that. I have a very positive attitude. I was a little sad at first, obviously, but I'm definitely in good spirits, and I know that good things are coming.
As a person who's been through a lot of that stuff, especially where you're at in the public's eye, people that are, curious about your faith are definitely going to be watching the way you handle this. So, I speak from experience in saying this. Definitely stick to your guns and, stick to your faith. It's a very important thing. But if it's part of who you are, it's important to stick to it.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I don't consider it work or anything. Like it definitely comes pretty naturally. Just being myself, it's just regular to me. It's very natural to carry myself in the way I think God wants me to.
Yep, easy to be focused on the things that are good and important. There's no doubt about it. There is you have some epic things coming up here in the Brevard County, Titusville region. I learned about this maybe last week. Tell us about this event you have coming up and what it's all about.
Yeah, so the event is the Raising Everyone's Confidence basketball camp. I started this when I was in Spain. So I was in Spain, and I had the bright idea that I needed to do more for my community back home in Titusville. And one way that I believe with my skills, my talents, I thought it would be pretty cool to bring a basketball camp to Titusville. So last year was our very first time doing it, and it was a success. I think we had about 60, almost 60 kids. I had about 7 coaches there, and the coaches came. The coaches that I brought there were college players. They were professional basketball players. They were college coaches. And it was a great event overall. But this year we're gonna try to ramp it up a little bit. It's really about helping the kids develop in basketball, but also just helping them with their collaboration skills with others. Helping them with their self-esteem. It's the title says raising everyone's confidence. I got that because it's my initials, REC, Romeo Elijah Crouch, but it's really something that embody. I mean, when I came on the podcast, I forget, maybe 2 years ago when I came on your podcast, I talked about it just a little bit about how I struggle with my confidence. And this is something that I really wanted to help the community with in Titusville. So that's where the idea came from. But it's going to be a great event. May 30th and 31st is the first session.
Are there still openings?
Absolutely. We're still. So I started it. I opened up the sales, I think about 2 weeks ago, maybe, or a week ago. I can't remember. But yeah, definitely we're still. There's still openings. There's sponsorship opportunities for people who may not be able to afford the ticket price. So there's definitely. So I don't. One thing that I always tell people is that don't let the ticket price affect you. If you want to come to the camp or you want to get your child involved with the camp, just let me know, send me a message, and we'll work something out to get them in.
Where do people go to find you and to find out about this event and sign up for it?
Yeah, so you can just go to raisingeveryone'sconfidence.com. You search that in your web browser, and it's an Eventbrite link. You can find me on all social media platforms, just under Romeo Crouch, and I have the event posted on there as well, and there's links connected to each one of those.
Romeo, man, we're so proud of you, buddy. It's it's awesome to see where you've went with this, and while I'm sorry you're dealing with an injury right now, it's great to have you back home, and I'm glad you're here. It's amazing you're able to do this, and man, I couldn't be more excited for you. Yeah. We're here to help you however we possibly can.
I'm running through families in my head that I'm going to be telling all about this, raising everyone's confidence.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
It's much needed, very much needed.
No doubt about it. Tell us one more time when that is and where people can go to find it.
So I'm gonna pull up the link for you, but it's on Eventbrite.
Okay.
But the title of the event is raisingeveryone'sconfidence.com.
And when is it?
It's going to be May 30th and 31st. So there's 2 sessions. The first session is going to be for a younger group, ages 5 to 11. That's May 30th and 31st. And then the second session is the following week, June 6th and June 7th. And the times for each one of those days is going to be 9 a.m. to 3 p.m.
Oh, it's a full day. This is awesome.
It's a full day. We're going to have vendors for lunch. We're gonna have special guest speakers. We're going to have awards, swag bags, things that the children can walk home with. We have a partner. I'm proud. A partner with Rich Kids Biz. It's his name is James Council, and he writes children's books for financial literacy. So that's another thing that we're going to try to help with the kids is get them on board and learn a little bit more about financial literacy.
This is awesome. Yeah, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
Well, let us know how we can be a help, buddy. I'm happy to help you however I can. And
well, thank you. I mean, this is a lot in itself. This is a lot. So thank you.
Yeah, I'll take this one and I'll try to post it probably tomorrow, just so we get it up there for you and get something out there for you. But it's super happy to have you on here. And man, I know I speak for Bill and Cindy both when I say we're very proud of you and what you're doing. It's
absolutely.
Great.
Thank you so much. I'm sad that I can't be there in person. I'm up here in Daytona, pretty busy, doing other things with Embry-Riddle. I'm still involved pretty heavily there. So just trying to stretch myself where I can, but I appreciate you making this phone call and putting me on and helping me out with my camp and everything.
You got it, buddy. Yeah, we'll have you back on again when you find some time. But yeah, happy to have you on here and keep after it, man. Keep fighting the good fight.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Appreciate you all.
All right, we'll see you, Romeo. Have a good afternoon, buddy.
You too.
Bye. What an awesome young man. Did you see that from him, Bill, as a young man as he was a student? Did you see that coming?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You can see big things in his
future.
Well,
he was just you could always Romeo always cared. He always cared. I mean, he cared about other people, and he was a very talented young man, but he was also extremely humble.
That's you can't get too much of that. You can't get too much of that.
And very poised. He was
well beyond his age, huh?
Well, I'll tell you a story about him. And he was we at that time we did shows live, and when you do a show live, something happens. The teleprompter glitched, and Romeo was in the middle of his announcement. He was doing an announcement, and the teleprompter glitched, and he didn't skip a beat because he had a script that I gave him as a backup on the desk. He picks it up and he just starts reading. Picks up right where he is, reads
awesome.
It, doesn't skip a beat. Very composed young man. Just kind of knew the situation, and sharp kid.
There's some people you meet, and I've only had a chance to interact with them a handful of times. You meet them and you get a impression right off the bat. And I know I did with him. I went, oh, he's going places. Like, he's got it together. Yeah. He's you can tell he was associated with the right people that are trying to push him in the right directions, doing what's best for him, and he's trying to do that for himself too. And like, oh, he's going places. This is great. So yeah, just anyhow, I think it's time for me to digress.
I suppose.
Yeah, it was due.
Well, or wrap the whole thing up.
Did we go 2 episodes without me digressing until just now? I think.
Oh
we just
no,
did.
you digressed early.
No. Did I really? But that was before we started recording. I think.
That's right. Yes, it was not on the show.
Technically speaking.
So it doesn't count. So if a tree falls in the forest and nobody is there to hear it digress, does it?
It doesn't. It never digressed in the first place.
Never digressed.
No, it never digressed.
It never did.
Cindy, do you want to end us with a word of wisdom?
No. What? I'm not a circus animal. I can't just perform.
Talk about putting somebody on the spot.
Like, go ahead, Cindy. Be profound.
Yes.
What?
Tell us something interesting.
No, I know.
Cindy, that was actually very interesting. That was profound and interesting.
I think he's grasping.
She's a wonderful lady.
How many seasons without accidentally cussing, and I just almost did.
You almost did.
I just almost was myself for one
my
split
garage.
second.
It's hilarious. All right, y'all. Thank you for Cindy. You're awesome. All right, y'all. Thank you for tuning into the EEARSS Podcast, produced by Terrier TV here at Titusville High School. You can find us on all platforms by searching EEARSS or EEARSS.org, alligatorrob.com, or I don't ever mention this, but you can actually find us over at EEARSS.com too. I don't ever mention that, but we can be found there too.
Is it .com or org?
Well, I always say .org, but we have .org and .com.
Oh, okay, cool.
Just to make it interesting, because I've never confused anybody with all those things at one time. So
no, never.
Why not? Thank you to Edna Wilson with Celebrate Remax Aerospace for sponsoring our program. Pat Fisher Nissan, Kelsey's Pizza, Space Coast Executive Jet Center. Oh, Lord, there's so many.
We're gonna have to get
Hello
some
Again
cue
Books.
cards.
There's a lot of them. We have so many amazing people helping us what we're doing. If you guys want to sponsor our program or help us out with our research studies, you can go over to ears.org, donate, and help us out. There might be a video in the future about my beard. Who knows? It is looking kind of crazy right about now, so it's probably due to be posted. We'll get there when we get there. Thank you all for tuning in to the EEARSS Podcast, produced by Terrier TV. We'll catch you all next time. Bye-bye.